All right, welcome back to another Past the Barb. It is April 17th, and it's just me and Stolski right now. So
It's just a couple of lone rangers in
we're having
here.
some serious technical difficulties here getting the boys on. Sounds like Bart might be MIA tonight. So
Bart's having major issues.
I think he's having a
Um,
bit of a meltdown currently.
he's down fishing somewhere. I'm not really sure where he is. He's pre-fishing for some tournament in the south. He has bad service, and also too, he didn't tell any of us the login for recording this stuff, and so we just got it. We're only about an hour behind schedule, but luckily Pink was able to get us set up, and we're recording, so we're in.
Yeah, so short bench tonight. Hahner is inbound at some point here, but I think we'll just get things rolling here. Yeah, it's been a good week, at least for me. Finally got out, did a little bit of turkey hunting, which I was super
Nice.
stoked about. Opened on Wednesday. The weather's been garbage, but I did get out, had some action, which was super fun. Honestly, I always look forward to it because it's like first tag of the season, and then like you haven't hunted anything in a super long time, so just get out there and get to work. I did. I got some permission on a farm from a buddy that I'd never been to before.
Nice.
So I went there with him, just kind of scoped it out, and went and hunted it on Saturday, and got into them good. It just I couldn't get any of the toms to come my way. They were all henned up really bad, which is frustrating. Like the early part of the season when they still are in the flocks.
Definitely.
So dealing with that, but yeah, I'm psyched. I'm probably going to be hunting. Well, I got to work, but I'll try to get out in a couple mornings, maybe this week, and then give her on the weekend. And the season's long here. If you hunt with a bow, like Minnesota, you get all the way to the end of May.
Yeah, you can
So
hunt until like almost like Memorial Day weekend, can't you?
yeah, I mean, it literally goes from opening day, which was Wednesday, till the last day of May.
That's huge. Yeah, that
So
is a long season.
yeah, it's nice, and you can kind of just get out when you can and do that deal. But yeah, my dad was hunting with me too. He went out opening day and he got one, like literally flew off the roost, walked right in, shot it. So he hunted for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, quick season for the old man.
Yeah, which is good. So
Yeah, in and out. I
yeah,
like that. I like that.
but yeah, that's what I've been doing, man. How about you?
Nice. Yeah, been fishing quite a bit. Fished today. Fished.
There he is. Wow, bareback and everything,
Thank you, sirs.
showing some serious skin. What happened to Will? He was just here.
I got a spinning circle.
Oh, you're back. You went dark, man. You're in the
Okay.
shadows. We're all here. Look at us.
Okay, Cody's in.
Cody's
Cody's
in. He's in the old hat tub.
Cody's checking. Is that at the hotel there, Cody?
This is the fabulous Super 8.
Oh,
If you haven't
beautiful.
noticed,
It looks like a nice facility.
it looks what I would consider luxurious. I don't know.
I would say a step down from that,
Okay.
just a tuck down from that. But there's warm water where I'm sitting.
There's definitely some serious acoustics in there.
Yeah, it's awesome. They even left a couple lights on for you.
They did. They knew that there was a podcast going.
Yeah, they've got a sign on the door: "Do not enter. Past the Barb recording in progress."
Well, I apologize for anybody not watching on YouTube because there's some skin showing here, and it's a beautiful thing, really.
Cody's checking in poolside. Kind of cool.
You got some co-hosts coming in soon, or what's the deal?
Oh yeah, I missed Wolf, of course.
It's like going underwater. What's going on?
Gurgling water.
All right, we'll check in with you in a minute. So where?
Okay, so we got Cody in. So now we got 3. We're just missing Adam. Adam won't be here, but
He's not coming.
So yeah, been fishing quite a bit here in Montana on Missouri River. The fishing has been good, I guess. It hasn't been like spectacular. I was kind of telling Ryan before this, our water temps are still very cold, like 37 degrees. So fish are a little lethargic, but yeah, just doing some fishing and staying busy and all that stuff. So turkey season actually opened here as well, Ryan, on Saturday. So
You gonna grab a tag, or are you sitting that one out?
I got one in my pocket. I've been looking. I've been doing a lot of driving around. Guy I work with has a whole bunch that are like right next to where he's living, like the property, and so I keep
Okay.
bugging him. I'm like, let's just go kill one because he has like it's like 2 acres that's surrounded by like a big ranch, and most of them are on the ranch. But I was like, I bet we can call him over, But so I'm trying to work on him to see if he'll let me come out and just auger one, from his like basically his front porch. He'll see him.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like a fun deal too, because it's kind of like little baby elk hunting.
it totally is. It's interactive, I get to get the diaphragm going. So yeah, I will probably try to turkey hunt a little bit here in the next couple of weeks, but it's still plenty cold for sure. So
well, hopefully we're checking in with some dead birds next time we record.
Yeah, dude. Got to fill the freezer. Looking pretty empty.
Right on. Hahner, what you got going?
No, I was gonna ask Bill. I was gonna ask Will. Can you guys hear me?
It's not great. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not great. It's a little echoey in there.
I think your mic just has water in it, maybe. Try the other end of the pool.
Check the sauna.
Oh yeah. Hahner's taking us for a tour of the old Super 8 here. Did you lose your key, dude?
I guess that's as far as we can go.
Are you locked in?
Pool shuts at 8, bro.
Okay, so Will, like, what is your big like? Oh my gosh, it's turkey season. I'm going on. Are you laughing at me?
Yeah.
So what is your big season as it comes to like April now, like end of May? Like what is the excitement for you? Are you going for trout? Are you going for turkeys? Like what is the big thing?
Yeah, I would say my focus has definitely shifted to trout for the most part, but I would like to dedicate a little time for turkeys, especially because I'm in a new area, so to speak. So I'd like to do that. Also, spring bear is open in Montana as well right now, which I've bear hunted a little bit out here, not with any real success, but I've always thought it'd be cool to shoot like because out here, you get a lot of like cinnamon phase black bears or like the blondes, which I thought that'd be freaking awesome. I was actually talking to a guy at the bar on Saturday night who shot one from his boat.
Come on.
Yes, a bear, and it was a giant too, like a stud black bear, and he just augured it from his boat. I was like, dude, that's the way to do it. He must have known that it was this bear was coming down to feed because he was like, he's like, I went there. It was opening morning when he shot it, so I think he just sort of idled around in front of there and then waited for it to come out, and then just whammed it. So,
dude,
I know.
Yeah,
so
we gotta plan a trip sometime, dude. That would be good.
Spring bear is a great non-resident tag in Montana because it's over the counter. So is fall bear, but I think it's only like, I shouldn't say only, but I think it's like $400 or something, or $450 for a non-res. But it's a long season. We can hunt until well into June. So,
which to be honest is pretty reasonable. I mean, for an out-of-state tag. So
right. And I do know, like most guys that have success bear hunting in the spring, it usually doesn't get going until like another couple weeks when things start to green up and they start to come out and feed more. But
you still got a bunch of snow, or what's the situation out there?
Up high, we do. There's quite a bit of snow up high. Down low, there's not hardly any here, but definitely quite a bit still up in them hills.
Right.
So. I think as soon as that starts to melt off and things start to green up, I think the bears will start to really show themselves. So something that I'd like to do a little bit more of, but you guys know there's not enough time in the spring. There's just so much going on.
Yeah, there's just too much to do. How does that with the snow melt and everything? How does that affect your like water levels on the river?
So luckily on the Missouri, since it's a tailwater and it's dam fed, it never really blows out like a Freestone River Road, like the Madison or the Yellowstone. Those rivers will really blow out once the melt starts going. But the Missouri stays pretty good up until there's a few tributaries that flow into it. That will blow it out. Certain sections below it will be kind of muddy, but we're sort of lucky in that there's a really like a 9-10 months of fishable water here, so it doesn't blow like some of those other rivers will, which is nice.
Yeah. I can say for here, I mean, it's not a trout stream by any means, but as of today, the Minnesota River is out of its banks through like the West Metro here. So there's hella floodwater happening over here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys that. And Cody, I don't know much about like that De Pere fishery and stuff. I mean, does that thing get high and muddy with snowmelt, or what goes on there, the Green Bay stuff? We've got no audio.
I think he's throwing the toaster in the bathtub here.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, Ryan, so you're starting to see a little bit of mud and that kind of thing.
Dude, yeah, the water's come up like 10 feet in the past couple weeks. I mean, it's definitely, like I said, as of today was the first day I actually have seen it out of the banks because I drive over it every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw it today, and like the whole floodplain area is starting to fill up, and they're talking it's going to come up another several feet before it crests. And we're supposed to get some rain this week still. So be interesting to see what happens with how they fluctuate the dams, going down, like once it connects to the Mississippi and starts going down. So
yeah, all that stuff. So yeah, but yeah, that's kind of just sort of trying to do the spring things like we all are. So
yeah,
looking forward to warmer weather for sure.
Hahner, we absolutely cannot hear you. I think your mic is toasted, dude.
Hahner's got no audio. He might just have to
jiggle the plug, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, there you are. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. No, I was going to say, no, most of the Wisconsin River is plugged, dude.
Yeah.
Plugged. Super high, but Stolski, you were saying about the Green Bay fisheries, it is unoperational right now at the headwaters of the dams. Like the only thing you can try and do is get close to the dam or get below the dam, and you have to know where the fish are running at that time of the year to get to the places where you get the most fish. Because like most of the time, it doesn't matter. Like doesn't matter the water levels, doesn't matter the water temps. Like they're gonna be where they're gonna be at that time of the year.
Sure.
Like Menominee right now. Like Menominee is super high, it's super cold. It doesn't matter. Like they're there.
Even when it gets blown out, is there still a bunch of boats down there though? Like just giving her?
God. There's a bunch of boats and they're all catching them.
Oh yeah.
So just it doesn't really affect the fishing too much.
It's like I've come to the realization that it doesn't matter what time of year it is. It's just the time of day or like the time that you're there is when you have to be there. And that's it.
That's sick though that it's like even when it's blown out, like boats are still getting out and hammering them, because I feel like that is not the case here. Like when it goes high, like it shuts down. Like it is not a thing anymore.
Dude, like Green Bay is ridiculous. Like there's so many fish. There's so many fish. There's so many fish that you could drag a hair jig in 25 feet of water where there's no fish and catch 25 fish.
Is the bay open yet? Is it still? It is.
Yeah, it's fully open, which is part of the fun. Like Sturgeon Bay is super open. Cedar River is super open. like all the places are open, so everything's everything's open to fishing. But I feel like I don't know. People get this thing in their head where it's not possible to catch fish.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Like because
Maybe
the
you
water's
don't.
up or what?
Maybe that the water's up,
Yeah.
but absolutely, there's a billion walleyes about to spawn.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, that'll be sick once because you're gonna start doing some trips out there this spring, right?
Yes,
When's that? That's like in May?
that is in May. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
for smallmouth.
Oh, you're not even doing the walleye thing, huh?
No, not anymore.
Yeah. That's probably for the best.
Yeah,
Yeah, walleyes suck.
as you can see me.
Sick. Well, what are you doing? I mean, what have you been up to, Cody? I mean, you've been sending me snaps. Looks like you're on the work grind pretty hard.
Super hard. So currently, if you can't hear me, I am in. I'm in a pool currently.
Let the people know where are you at. We'll send a pin here.
So we're up in Eagle River.
Ah, the
look.
Northwoods.
Yeah, take a look up there. We're up in the we're up in the Northwoods. We're having a great old time up here.
It looks very crowded where you are.
There's not a single person to enjoy such. There's not a person to enjoy the things that we're enjoying. Be honest.
Seems beautiful. I don't know.
After that snow, it was torture.
Did it stick? How much did you get? Oh boy, he just cut out. We got a sketchy mic coming out of Eagle River right now. Sounds like there's a semi truck driving through here.
Dude, Adam's gonna be so pissed off at us when he listens to this.
Hey, nothing we can do, man.
We're just trying our best here, guys. Yeah.
He's back. Oh boy. All right. Well,
All right.
I'm looking forward to
next?
at least doing something else. But until then, sounds like Stolski, you're the only one that's actually fishing, other than Bart. He's down. We established where did he go? Kentucky Lake, right? He's fishing a tournament down there.
He's whamming them.
That's what it sounded like, just smashing them. But I think today the biggest thing we wanted to get into was we got a Bassmaster tournament coming up here. So we're all doing fantasy. We still haven't established what the loser, it's the loser, right? Not the winner of anything, is gonna end up getting here. But
I think I have something that I would like to say, something I think the loser should do. You guys can just an idea.
We're spitballing.
I think the loser should have to run a 5K on Thanksgiving.
That could be great.
Like a turkey trot. Like, you know how some families do that? Mine does not. I don't know about you guys, but
no,
I think
definitely not.
I think the loser should have to run a 5K on Thanksgiving.
I'm putting it in the notes right now.
It's just an idea. But I think
we'll revisit that because that's not bad. Oh my god, that's good. All right, so
let's do picks. Yeah, what does everybody got for picks?
So anyway, Murray Lake, Hunter, what do you know about that? I do not know much. Have you ever fished that, or what's the status of Murray?
So I fished it. Is that too echoey? Is this too echoey?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, I got you. It's echoey, but it's what it is, man.
Okay, so Murray is probably one of the best places I've ever fished in my entire life.
Really?
Like, hands down, far and away, like super cool fishery. But I would say the guys who can either A, skip docks, or two are locals where they can keep up on schools of fish that are moving out and are know their traveling ways are gonna catch fish really well. But I would say either A, skip docks, two fish grass lines, three fish cane piles, and that's like the way you win. I would say cane piles win.
Because I did get into the weeds a little bit on the preview stuff where they were talking about. It sounds like the lake has really been on fire. I mean, Bass as an organization
the lake is stupid. It's
yeah, and
always been stupid.
They haven't had an elite event there in a really long time. It was like 2012 or something was the last time they were there. So this one's kind of cool because there's not a lot of information to go on other than guys that have fished other circuits that have been there. So it makes the picks a little more interesting, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But
it's going to be dumb there.
Really? You think it'll be that good?
I think it'll be over 80 pounds to win.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's so good.
I'm going to run through my picks. Because like Hahner, you know the most about this lake out of anybody. So I'm just going to go. So I felt pretty good about a few of them. So my A bucket, I got John Cox, just because I feel like he'll scrap around enough to figure something out. Drew Benton in B.
Ooh.
Just for like sight fishing and like, because it sounds like there's potential that there's still going to be fish on beds. So if they can figure that game out, it sounds like there's a lot of different, parts of the spawn happening right now on that lake. Then I got Stephen Kennedy is my C. And then I went Brandon Polnick. I hope I don't regret that pick.
Yeah, he's been kind of sucking.
I feel like
it sounds like Stolski that we're going to have a chance.
There's a chance. And you even have more of a chance because I picked a wild card on my E bucket. I picked Paul Mueller.
Old Paul. Is he still with Dobbins?
I don't know, dude. I assume he's still got an orange shirt on.
But he's Dobbins lifer, man.
But I went Paul Mueller just as like he's gotten it done before and it's been a long time. And it sounds like everyone's catching him, so I feel like he's got a shot.
It could be Paul's Derby.
So between Polnick and Paul Mueller, I feel like it's like feast or famine here.
Yeah.
But that's my lineup.
What's your tiebreaker?
My tiebreaker, I went 76 or 75 pounds 8 ounces. Nice. So I think I'm maybe a little shy, but if it ends up shaking out tough, then I think I'm right in there.
Nice. I'll run through mine. I'll be honest. I kind of just picked locals. That was sort of my game plan, except for one. Not local, but Carolina.
That could be safe though. That could be a safe bet.
So I picked Brandon Cobb for my A bucket, which I think he was the highest percentage picked. He's just kind of on fire right now. Then I picked Matt Array. Is that how you say it?
Airy.
Okay. Another local guy. And then I picked Corey Johnston. I feel like I feel like he's kind of due a little bit, and I like that he's Canadian, so I picked him.
There is that.
I wanted a Canadian guy. I almost picked Gussie, but I didn't. I think he might have kind of a like classic hangover right now.
He's a little too hot right now.
A little too hot. Then I picked Jason Williamson, another local guy. And then on the last one,
steal all your spots.
I picked Brian. Yeah, exactly. I did know about that. Brian New, who had like 69% of the bucket. So I kind of just picked him because I was like, he's either going to do really well or suck.
Yeah, my understanding is he was like one of the favorites going into the event.
Yes, I think he's like a very like local dude that's won a lot out there. So
yeah, and I don't know really anything about him, but
no, I just had to pick him.
Yeah, a lot of people liked his chances there. Hahner, who do you got?
Okay, so I have currently Brandon Cobb, who is like the sleeper pick. Like, he's going to win the tournament.
A lot of confidence here.
Guaranteed. He's going to win the tournament. Then I have Jay Shakurik.
Okay, going with a Wisconsin boy.
Yep. And the reason why is because no one else is picking him. Currently.
Bold strategy.
Like, I don't even understand why. Like, he wins or he does well every single time.
And this is what, his second year on the Elite Series, or
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. And then I'm going with Jake Whitaker.
Okay.
Why Jake Whitaker? He lives in North Carolina. I don't know.
He's
Like,
proximal to the tournament location.
Yeah, that was my
sense.
strategy.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And he's good. Like, I don't know.
I feel like that's fair. A fair assessment.
Okay, so now I'm going with kind of a wild card. Justin Atkins.
I have no idea anything about his style. What is he doing?
He won the Forestwood Cup on Murray like 3 years ago. So y'all can fuck up.
Was it the same time of year?
It was earlier in the fall.
Okay.
But I think it's gonna be the same type of bite. And I
Okay.
think Justin Atkins can like kill that bite
Yeah.
versus
Right on.
a lot of people. I think he has the right mindset to absolutely. I think it's good.
Yeah.
Just watch.
Just get ready. Buckle up.
All right. And the last person that I picked is David Williams, which is a shallow water hammer.
Okay.
Absolute hammer.
I feel like you covered it good, because like there will be guys that find him, deep points, in the backs and probably all stages of the spawn. So I feel like you got a pretty like wide spread.
Right. And David Williams is going to be like that shallow water fisherman, like skipping docks, that type of fisherman.
Yeah.
Because that boy can skip the docks better than you've ever seen in your life.
You've seen it. You've seen it
I've
happen.
seen it. I've seen it. I've learned it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, what did you have for your weight? What was your tiebreaker weight? Because you said it was going to be big.
I had 82 pounds, 5 ounces.
Jeez. Fat sacks.
I think Murray, and I think it's going to be plus that. I think it's going to be, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to go like on camera 22. I would say 87.
Gee, so
I
you're
think I'm
talking
going
like
to go 87.
a little over 22 a day.
I think it's gonna be that.
Dang.
I think it's gonna be really good.
I hope it is, because it sounds like the weights are predicted to be pretty tight for this one. Like it's not just going to be 5 guys that catch them.
Right.
Which it should be exciting to at least watch a little bit of. Get the bass track should be lighting up the whole time, because it sounds like they're catching sick numbers too, not just bigs.
Yeah, definitely more fun when it's a slugfest.
I think so.
Oh.
And yeah, and I mean, for this one especially, coming off of like the Classic, I think for a lot of guys like that don't fish multiple circuits, like they haven't been fishing, or well, I mean, I'm sure they're fishing, but like they're not fishing tournaments in between. And I think that'll be interesting to see how it plays out coming off the break here after the Classic. But
right,
because then they go back to back, because they got this one and then they have Santee Cooper like immediately after.
Yeah.
So that should be interesting.
Nice. Well, yeah, it should be
All right, Hunter's taking a dip in the cold pool.
Should be fun to watch.
All right. So Will, we talking wiki find here?
I got a wiki find. It's been a while.
All
It's
right.
been a few weeks since I've fired up the wiki machine.
Let's get her going here, because I think Bart's picks we're just gonna have to assume are being poached after listening to this.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna poach hard. So I've got, for my wiki find of the week, I've got the short-faced bear. Have you ever heard of this creature?
Short-faced bear. I don't think so.
They're now extinct.
That's
But
probably why.
they roamed North America many years ago, but they were the largest bear to exist. So these things weighed 2,500 pounds.
Come on.
2,500. They got up to 12 feet tall standing up and 5 feet at the shoulders. So just picture that, like
God.
your grandma standing and it's taller than your grandmother because they're 5 feet at the shoulders.
Okay.
So roughly they're about 2 times the size of a grizzly bear. And they think that they could probably run about 40 miles an hour.
What? Okay. So this is like apex predator.
So this is a 2,500 pound beast coming at you the speed of like a Vespa, a moped, like cruising.
Okay.
And they think that they lived in Minnesota and then west. So
Really?
they were in one point in Minnesota. A farmer actually in Iowa, in northern Iowa, found some fossils, some bones of one of these bears. And this wasn't all that long ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, but they definitely existed and in good numbers. And they stretched all the way to the Yukon into Alaska. The problem was the reason they went extinct is they didn't evolve fast enough compared to their other bear brethren, I guess. And eventually they just died for whatever reason. I didn't get that far into the evolution, why they didn't, what they needed. But there's some pictures of these things. If you Google the great short-faced bear, there's some like replicas or whatever, and the thing is so giant and so scary looking. I can't imagine like walking around and like seeing a bear that's 12 feet tall.
Like,
I mean,
in comparison, I guess, to like a grizzly, like, are the proportions the same? It's just like way bigger, or like
they kind of look like a grizzly. They have their necks are even thicker than a grizzly bear and taller. God. So their heads are enormous, and they call them they have kind of a short snout. And they're sort of like a grayish color, not like a polar bear, but not brown like a grizzly bear. They're kind of like in between. But these things, man, they must have just wreaked havoc on the plains. I mean, I can't imagine. They probably had to eat probably a couple deer a day just to get the calories, you know?
I feel like if they were that big, though, they must have been taking down like moose and stuff.
For sure. Yeah,
like
they were
hardcore.
They were probably after, moose and elk and whatever other ungulates were running around at that time period.
Short-faced bear, huh?
Yeah, it's worth a Google image search. Just check it out. They're pretty terrifying.
And you said they found like remnants somewhere.
Yes, they've definitely found fossils all stretched throughout the West and then up into the Yukon. And like I said, that farmer found it in Iowa. So they have pretty big range. So they were pretty prolific there for a while. But unfortunately, they're extinct. I'd love to pull a short-faced bear tag. I mean, that'd be the hunt of a lifetime. Right.
Did they speculate like how long ago they went extinct?
You know, I'd have to look. It was quite some time ago. It might have even been. I don't know if they were running around the time like humans were there. You know, probably. I'm sure they were actually. But
just gutting mammoths and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. I'm sure
taking them down.
Dude, they're probably messing up hunters and gatherers. I mean, they come into camp and just fuck your whole life up.
Oh, well, there's nothing you could do, right? I'm sure you're not. What are you going to shoot? Put a little arrow on this guy, and he's just
yeah. Just grab it with his giant fucking 2-foot paw and yank it out and throw it at you.
Yeah, I do think it's wicked how like a lot of I mean, granted they've gone extinct or whatever, but a lot of the animals were just like so goddamn big.
They're huge. They're so much bigger, than animals today, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like we talked about a number of episodes ago, like that giant salmon, the saber-toothed salmon.
Yeah,
I mean, that thing was, it makes king salmon look tiny, and this makes grizzly bears look tiny. It's like Yeah,
And
dude.
grizzly bears, and like especially coastal brown bears, not tiny.
No, very, very big. Like,
Did you have you ever had any run-ins when you were up in Alaska?
I got pretty close. I'll tell this. This will replace my I know we're gonna maybe talk about Sobe's COVID story, but I'll tell a Alaska bear story because I think
Let's get into it. That sounds good.
This is better. So, at this time, I was guiding on the Kenai River, and we would see bears occasionally, but not very often. Not nearly as often as they do in Bristol Bay at some of those other places.
And you were working like with an outfitter up there at a camp?
Yep, working at a lodge. That's where I first started. And so later in the season in August, we would do some hike-in trips for trout, where you would hike into these smaller tributaries that fed the Kenai, and the sockeye salmon would be up there spawning. So the trout would follow them up there and eat their eggs. Trout love eating salmon eggs. It's like their favorite thing. So you could really catch the trout like really, really good. But by circumstance, the bears would be there too because they'd be eating the salmon because they're easy to get, shallow water. And so we were fishing this little creek, and it's like there's signs everywhere that there's bears around. Like it's no secret. So I had my little bear spray and stuff, and I had 3 clients with me, and so we're walking, and it's like these three older guys, and we're fishing, we're catching trout, and it's epic fishing when it goes off. I mean, you can stand in one spot and catch 40 trout. It's crazy good. So we're like fishing and catching them, and I'm like, all right, let's go hike a little farther. Like, let's go around this bend and like fish some new water. And so like we're walking, and brown bears, they have this smell. Like there's a very distinct smell they have. It's hard to explain, but it's just like it's like putrid almost. They reek. They smell really bad, but it's a certain scent. And I'd smelled it in there before. Like, there's bears around. There's bear shit all over the place, and bear tracks, but they usually stay away from you. So we come around this corner, and I can smell bear. Come around the corner.
This was not like the first time you've encountered this before. Like you were aware that like, oh yeah, that's what they smell like.
Totally aware of that. Yeah. Totally aware of the smell and that bears were there. So I come around the corner. My people are behind me, and come around the corner, and like 20 yards probably away from me, there's this big boar, and he's just sitting eating salmon. Like he's just kind of like sitting on his hind legs, and he's just got a salmon. It's pretty cool to see, but he's got a salmon, and he's like eating it, and he's got a pile of dead fish around him. But I'm like, oh shit. Like,
and like how close are you at this point?
I'm like I'm 20 yards away. I mean, I'm right there. Yeah. My clients are right behind me. And so like the big thing that I was always told is like, if you see a bear, like do not run away from it. Like they'll think you're food, So I'm like trying to be Mr. Cool. Like this is my first year guiding there too. And so my clients behind me, and they see the bear, and they're like, oh fuck, and I'm like that too. And I'm like, I look back at them, and I'm like, okay, do not move. And the bear's looking at us, and like I'm looking at it, and like they also say like make yourself look big. Well, those that know me, I'm not a very big dude. So.
And this is what, first legit bear encounter?
Yes, that I've been on foot. Yeah, I see them from the boat all the time.
And you're 20 yards right now.
Yeah, I'm 20 yards away. I'm 21 years old. I'm scared to death. And my bear spray is in my little satchel in my bag. Of course,
yeah.
Because I'm like, of course, I'm so stupid. So the bear's looking at us. It sees us right away, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, please. Just go into the woods. Just go into the woods. And it like real slowly kind of squares up its shoulders, and then it stands up on its hind legs.
Yeah.
And it's looking right at me, and I'm looking right at it. I'm like, dude, just please. Because at this point, I'm like, it doesn't even matter if I get my bear spray out. This thing can cover 20 yards in half a second. It will be here on top of me. I'm like, okay. So it kind of squares up, looks at me, and then it goes back down onto all fours. And in the most casual way possible, just turns around and just like saunters into the woods. And I look back at my clients. I'm like, okay, guys, we're going to turn around. So we all turn around and like very slowly just like work our way back out of there. I never felt like we were actually in serious danger. The bears up there in Alaska, they're pretty content. They're happy. They're eating salmon. They've got unlimited food. So they're not like ornery like some of the bears out west when you hear the attacks out here. But it was certainly a pretty terrifying experience. And after that, from that day forward, whenever I fished there, I carried a gun. And I do now too, especially hunting in Montana, because I just don't think bear spray would really do a whole lot, especially against like a big coastal brown bear in Alaska. But yeah, that was my bear encounter. It was pretty crazy. It's a good story now.
That
So.
is wicked though, because it's like I'm sure in the moment you are like shitting yourself because you're like,
Oh, I was
here we
terrified,
go,
dude.
like this is game on, dude.
I thought he was gonna kill me, and I thought he was gonna kill all my clients too. Or worse yet, I thought maybe I'd survive and my clients be dead. I'm like,
And then you'd have
this.
to explain all that.
Yeah, I'd have to, get someone in there to fucking clean up the remnants. So, yeah, that's really honestly the only close bear encounter I've ever had. I've seen it, like I said, seen them from the boat, all that stuff, but I also haven't guided at areas where there's places in Bristol Bay where they see them every single day and they fish around them. It's totally normal. Like the bears are almost conditioned to fishermen.
Yep.
But where I've been on the Kenai and on the Nushagak too, never saw them that much. So yeah, my first encounter, I was pretty spooked. I wasn't really conditioned to it. So
yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I haven't spent a lot of time in like Grizz country at all.
mm-hmm.
So I mean, I've run into black bears out,
Yeah.
and seen them out west too, but nothing like crazy encounters like that. But yeah, being 20 yards, I mean, from like a good size one too, has got to get your heart rolling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how big he was, but he was big. I knew that. I mean, he dwarfed me for sure. So
yeah,
I was like, but yeah, like
Damn.
you said about the West thing, like I'm certainly way more bear aware or nervous about bears here than in Alaska by far, just because well, one, I'm usually in a boat in Alaska, which helps, but also two, like bear attacks happen a lot out here in Montana and in Wyoming and Colorado. And I think these bears out here, these grizzly bears, they don't have the food source that Alaska bears have, at least the ones on the coast.
Yeah.
So they have to work a lot harder. And I think they're just a little more ornery. They're a little more pissed off. So I think if you bump one or spook one, like they're going to smack you,
do you think that's more because of granted the bear populations are pretty high, but like just because people don't know what they're doing, or is it because they're like just so much more aggressive?
I think here it's, most people that you hear of attacks, it's archery hunters that are elk hunting, and it's hikers or people mountain biking, because they sneak up on a bear and the bear doesn't know what you are initially. And it just goes into, predatory mode. Especially archery elk hunting, when you're, walking quietly through the woods and you're cow calling and all that stuff. I mean, the dinner bell is ringing,
Right.
And, also, we can't hunt grizzly bears in Montana or anywhere in the lower 48 for that matter. So they have no predators. And I've also heard of people like in certain areas out here where the bears are conditioned to, gunshots, where if they hear a rifle shot go off during elk season, they go to it,
Yeah. I think that's very true though, especially even with black bears.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, like I elk hunt in Colorado pretty much every year.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of years back, there was another camp, these guys from North Dakota that just hunted the same unit as us, like pretty much every year. So we got to like know them or whatever.
Yeah.
And same deal. It was like I said, so Colorado has black bears. There's not grizzly there, but this was like a backcountry hunt. I want to say they're maybe like 6-7 miles in. Okay. And they had horse camp, the whole thing. They took it in deep.
Yep.
And this is like 3 days probably before the season. They packed in their whole camp. They got a wall tent back there. And they like first night in, they had a bear come into camp and like pawn at the tent, the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then in the day, it hit their camp when they were out and ate like a ton of their food and like all this stuff, right? And I mean, the guy that first night said that he opened the tent door and the bear is standing there at like 5 yards, and he shot his pistol, not like at the bear, just like, to get it to run away or whatever. And it like didn't even give a shit.
Yeah.
So like they're like recounting the story and they're like, yeah, this is wild. And then I guess they had it come in one more time. So now the season was open. The dude actually bailed out with the horses and went into town and bought a bear tag.
Yeah.
And then that night he sat right above their camp and waited for the bear, and it came in and he shot it.
That's awesome.
So he tagged, and it was huge, dude. I want to say it was like, I have the picture on my phone, but I think it was like a 500-pound black bear. It was insane, dude. The picture is unbelievable. I'll send it to you. It's sick.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. And like these bears, because that same bear had hit we talked to another hunter who was just solo spike camped in, and he bailed out a couple days into the hunt, but that bear like shredded his tent while he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
They
like
definitely
they get used to it, man.
They're aware of it. That was definitely like the one thing that was always like preached to me by like local guys out here. Like if you're gonna set camp or whatever, like you need to like keep a clean camp, like hang your food. If you have coolers with food, lock your coolers, like all that stuff, and it totally makes sense.
Yeah,
because as soon as they know that there's food there, they're gonna keep coming back. And there was a lady actually, I think it was last year, the year before, who she was camping. Can't remember where it was in Montana, but she was camping. She had food inside her tent, which is like a big no-no.
right.
And not like a wall tent or anything, just like a small tent. And the bear went into the tent and ripped her out of it and killed her.
Jesus.
Because he smelled the food, and then I think he, whatever happened next, who knows? But yeah, it's man, bears are they're the apex predator for sure.
Well, and you're in their world, right? Like you
Yeah.
show up and they don't give a shit. Like
No. Yeah, you're stepping into their dojo, so yeah.
well,
Bears,
hopefully you don't run into that anymore. I mean, like, damn.
No, and now that I'm like last season up there, I had this big brown bear, because I kept seeing his tracks, and he would walk down this one bank, and he must have been doing it at night. But like I'd like actively not go in there and look for him, but like every day I would like bring my clients by this bank, and just like pull up to it and like look at those tracks, because they're huge bear tracks.
Yeah.
But I was really hoping that I could see him from the boat,
right.
of course. But
to give people like the experience, right? Of like, check this bear out.
because you see moose and stuff all the time, but bears, I mean, it's not, at least where I guide, it's not super, super common. So like seeing one, it's a pretty cool experience for sure. But much prefer it from water as opposed to on foot. So
yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
You've never run into them in Montana though yet?
Just black bears. I've never ran into. I've seen one grizzly from the road, but I've never actually seen them. I've never actually hunted like super heavy grizz country either.
Yeah.
Hunted some places that have them, but I've never actually never encountered one. I don't. If I do, I'd like it to be like 500 yards away feeding.
Yeah, you're like, wow, that's cool, right?
Be like, oh, okay, like put the spotter on it and be like, oh, that's a grizzly bear, But yeah, I don't need to be any closer to that unless they open up a season, which there is talks that they might do. And of course it'll be a draw tag, but I would definitely be all over that. So
yeah, no, that would be sick. And like I said, I mean, the predator thing is cool. Like I know there's people that, they go to like Alaska or to places in, well, I don't know. They shut down BC. I think that was like one of the big ones.
Yes.
And they closed it.
Mm-hmm. Now they're having all kinds of issues with them.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the predator hunting thing as a whole has gotten like a lot bigger. Like you hear about a lot more guys like chasing lions now and doing that kind of stuff. Like I think it's just going to keep growing. But
definitely, and it's a needed thing. You have to manage those predators because they don't have any predators. So they have to be kept in check. And I think the state of Alaska does a great job of it because Kodiak, you can hunt there spring and fall, and then the peninsula rotates between spring and fall. But those bears are at least somewhat, they have issues, where bears come into town and stuff, and they have to kill them sometimes. But I mean, I'd love to see a grizzly bear season in Montana. I think it's needed. There seems to be plenty of them. I think there's more than they think. So
yeah, one of these days we got to get like a fish and game biologist on here one of these days.
That would be very cool.
Fire some questions, because I know the like predator thing is really hot topic. I mean, like politically and like
definitely.
Whatever. I mean, there's a lot of bad information out there, and like it's very heated. So we'll have to maybe dig into that one of these times.
Yeah, and it's definitely easy to be like, say you're like, for me, be like an armchair biologist, and I really don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
the floor and what the ins and outs of what's going on out there. It just seems to me that there's lots of bears, but
yeah. Well, and it's like that. Yeah, it gets just because people don't. The perception of bears is like totally different to people that run into them in the field versus somebody that just looks at pictures of cubs on the internet and is like, save all the bears.
And it's like, well, you should see what they do to elk calves when they're coming out of their moms and they can pull them out and eat them. Yeah, pretty brutal stuff. But yeah, that was my bear.
That's a good story, dude. That's an intense moment, because I'm sure that's like burned in your head forever.
Oh Yeah, dude, I can
No
like
question.
close my eyes and just see it sitting there.
Yeah.
But
Sick.
definitely cool. Definitely glad that it worked out the way it did. I have always thought though, I mean, if you're gonna go out, man, a bear attack would be kind of cool. I gotta say.
At least it's a way you could die. People are like, yeah, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, like Stolski, he got mauled by a bear. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't want that to happen, but it would be kind of a cool way to go
It'd
out.
be a solid way to go if it was your time, right?
Yeah, maybe if I was like 75 and like just barely limping into my last guide season and like that's the way I go out. That'd be cool.
Dude just takes his backpack off, drops the pistol, and just walks into it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my time, dude.
Speaking of bears, then we can get off the bear subject.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen that documentary about that guy that like he like lived with the bears like every year?
Yes.
Yeah, and then he ended up getting eaten.
Yes.
I'm like, if anybody's ever seen that doc or have seen that guy, I mean, he was a total lunatic. He thought the bears were like his friends. He thought that they were like, because he would go over there every year, and I'm sure some bears maybe recognized him, but it's just so fitting that he got murked. And the worst part about it is he had like his girlfriend with him, and she got killed too. And it's like, why you got to drag someone else into this stupid situation?
It was probably the only way it was actually going to end, though.
100%. That guy was so destined to be mauled. I think his name was Timothy something or other, but
maybe he was cool with that,
You'd
have
to probably trying to like pet the thing, and then it just was like, dude, get off of me, SWAT, So
the footage from that like documentary is insane. By the way,
it's crazy. He would get If you guys haven't seen that, it's worth checking. I think it's called like the Bear Man or the Bear Boy or something. I'm sure like that.
Bear Man, you'll find it.
Yeah, if you type in Bear Man Alaska attacked documentary. Dead. That should give you enough keywords.
Yeah,
that should give you enough keywords. Then they ended up killing that bear, and then they of course found a lot of remains inside of it. But like you said, that's the only way it was gonna end.
Yeah.
What's the saying? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah, very true in that scenario.
Yeah.
But since we're on the topic of just like the hunting and stuff, and the other boys that don't really care about it aren't here.
Yeah, exactly.
So I gotta ask, because I mean, I know you're kind of playing the points game too, and doing a lot of Western stuff. Not that we need to disclose like where you're building or anything like that, but I mean, what's your game plan for this fall? Are you putting in for tags, or are you just doing points, or kind of what was your? I mean, I know most of the deadlines are passed, but
So in Montana, I applied for everything, special deer permit, elk permit, goat, sheep, moose, all that stuff. I won't draw any of it except for maybe the elk unit that I applied for. I have a decent chance, which is a unit that I'd really love to rifle hunt for elk. Last year I mule deer hunted in that unit and saw 6 different bulls. One of them was like definitely like a 300. I bet he was between 340 and 350, a really, really big bull.
Yeah.
And I know right where they are. So when I do draw that tag, which hopefully, I don't know if it'll happen this year, probably won't, but maybe in the next 3, I think I have a good chance.
And that's a special draw, not just a general unit.
Yep. Just special draw. And so even, if I don't draw that, I'll still have my general elk tag, which will be nice, and deer and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, building points in a couple different states. Got, Utah, Colorado, and Arizona. And really like my main focus, I would love to draw a really good mule deer tag.
Yeah.
I just love mule deer hunting. It's like far and away my favorite. Especially in Utah. There are some giant mule deer in Utah, like crazy big mule deer. So that probably won't happen for quite some time, but those are kind of my, I guess, places that I'd like to build up some points and
kind of like some once in a lifetime Hail Mary tags.
Definitely. But yeah, that's kind of what I got going. It is hard for me living in Montana to kind of focus on others. I guess I have some South Dakota points too. Quite a few actually. So I should be good when I decide to pull the trigger on that hunt. South Dakota mule deer, I should draw it.
Nice.
But not this year, maybe next fall. But yeah, it's difficult like living in Montana and trying to hunt other states as well, just because we have such a long season here.
Yeah. Well, and you got a lot of opportunities like a resident. So I'm sure a lot of people listening don't. I mean, a lot of people listening probably hunt, but maybe don't hunt Montana specifically. Montana has a pretty complicated system for drawing tags, I think, over a lot of other states. So, if you're going to look into Montana, do your research for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely confusing for non-residents. I've had my buddies ask me like, "So what do I need to do?" And I just tell them, I'm like, honestly, like I always tell them, call my one buddy Cole, who
Yeah.
has hunted out here quite a bit, and he knows the process like the back of his hand, and he's a
Yeah.
non-res. And I'm just like, dude, get a hold of Cole because he can help you out. Because like, yeah, I've heard it's pretty confusing and can be kind of complicated.
I mean, once you understand how it works, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Because I started hunting out there the past couple of years now, and just figuring out the tag system was like step one, right? But now that I kind of got the gist of how it works, and they make changes all the time, especially in Montana, about like how non-resident tags work. So
yeah.
But whatever. I mean, it's a badass state to hunt in. There's tons of game out there.
Definitely.
And, like
yeah.
tons of opportunity and like not over the counter, but like easy to get tags and units and stuff.
Definitely. And there's a lot of public land. And I will say, like, just from talking to people, I mean, I was not born and raised here, obviously, but hunted the last 3 seasons here as a resident. So pressure is certainly higher, I think, than it once was. I mean, it's definitely hard to find like mature mule deer. I think the buck I shot this year was not a giant by any stretch of the imagination, but definitely like a good mule deer buck. And I think that was the 17th or 18th buck that I saw. So I had to sort, And
you were hunting like right in the middle of the rut too, right? I mean,
yeah. So it was just like a rut fest. It was really fun. I was like actually like, just really enjoying it because like I hunted, I think like 7 or 8 days in a row, and it was just awesome because I was just like in deer every day, and like they were just rutting their faces off. So,
dude, I feel like that is kind of so. Whenever I go like on a new hunt, well, even if it's not a new hunt, but like whatever, I go on an elk hunt or a mule deer hunt or whatever. I mean, like getting one is really badass, and like getting that chance is cool. But I almost like before I shoot one or like do that, it's like I just want to see like if I'm elk hunting, I want to see elk like doing what elk do.
Right. Yeah.
And like if I'm deer hunting, like I want to see them chasing does and like doing their thing, or like get to watch them for like a couple days before I go in and try to get one.
Yeah, it's just cool like being in there, and I definitely love killing one on the opening day as well. But it's fun to be like in it for a while and to be able to like be a little more choosy and like, I mean, that's the one thing I would say, like if people do hunt Montana, be a little picky, especially when it comes to deer hunting, because the first buck you see is probably not, it shouldn't be the one you shoot. It'd be somewhat selective because there's, as you start to peel back the layers of that country is, and you've been out there and hunted it, there's lots of folds. It's really, breaking in parts. And there's a lot of places that you can dig them up if you just give yourself a little bit of time and sit behind the glass and like, don't shoot the first one you see. Because I think that's what happens a lot is people just kill the first 2.5-year-old deer they see. And it's like, dang, man, if you just would have, I know I did that my first year. I shot the first buck I saw, and it was a fine buck, but it wasn't very big, so like giving yourself some time to like you said, watch it all unfold. I think it's way more fun that way too. When you pattern something and go to a spot the next day or the day after that, and they're there, it's like, dang, that's like puzzle pieces came together,
Yeah. And I have an app in. Well, I mean, the draw should be coming out pretty quick.
Yeah. What do you got going on?
I put in for a Montana general deer tag.
Yep.
So we'll see if that shakes out, hopefully. If not, I plan on grabbing some antlerless tags and just going mule deer hunting out there anyway.
Yep.
Because I mean, I did that last year, dude, and it was badass. Like it was such a fun trip, and I mean, we killed some deer, and the area that I was in, I only had doe tags for, and I saw some really nice bucks that I mean, I don't know. No matter where you hunt out west, it's like you can do a lot of research, but everything cycles. Like sometimes there's a lot of deer in an area and a lot of big bucks, and some, they have a hard winter. A lot of them die, that kind of thing. Definitely. So I'm just like, that unit right now seems like it's good right now, and I just want to like go while it's good.
Right, for sure.
So I'm hoping I draw it this year. If I don't get it this year, I should get it next year for sure. So I should have a buck tag. But Yeah, I'm planning on Montana, Colorado again. So I'll be going there, elk hunting. I got
Nice.
an application in for like a limited entry deal there.
Yep.
But if I don't draw, I'll probably go over the counter somewhere else, grab a bull tag and go. I've been fortunate to learn a few units out there, so I got some places to go, which is
That
cool.
helps a lot. Yeah.
And I mean, like, nobody really wants to talk units. I mean, it's like giving up a waypoint on a lake or whatever. But
sure.
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in all those states, and I bad about building points. Like I need to have a better strategy, but states like I plan on getting in the game in like Wyoming.
Yep.
Like I don't really have any like long-term builders where I'm like, oh, I'm going to try to, get 15, 20 points in some state. But, these ones that are like 6 to 8 point draws, I'd like to do a handful of, and
Yeah,
kind of
like
just
kind of
get the experience.
middle of the road tags for sure. Like, yeah, the only one that I like really, will continually hold out for is like, Montana sheep, goat, and moose. Which,
Oh yeah, right, yeah,
and just and because I'm a resident, so it helps that way. But those probably I won't see a sheep tag for probably another 25 years, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well,
when I
and
do
for
draw,
me,
it'll be sweet.
yeah, and for me, like I'm not a resident of any state where there's like a lot of that badass game.
Right.
So it's like I'm always traveling to go, and I try to
Right.
do a bunch of trips every year.
Well, you
And
could be Pink, pack it up.
I might have to, dude.
Head her out,
The way things are going.
The grass is green out here, brother. Expensive, but it's green.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, because I've been doing kind of like the traveling hunting game for a number of years now, and it's pretty. I mean, the first couple of years were tough, and like, granted, I was doing it with like my dad and whatever, and I got a couple buddies that are into it now, and you learn quick what works and what doesn't.
Definitely.
So I mean, like, I'm sure even where you hunt in Montana, it's not like you get to see it every day.
No, it's it's a pretty it's still a good drive from where I live. So
yeah, so it's like you're scouting on the trip. You're trying to learn like where can I shoot the biggest buck or elk on the mountain today. Not like I'm gonna pattern them and figure out all these different bulls that live there. Like I got to figure it out and get it done.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I think that strategy is a little different, but yeah, I mean, for me, I think the only like species I'm going points wise, I got a bunch of deer points in Colorado right now.
Nice.
That I'm just kind of waiting on what I'm going to do with them.
Yeah, stack those. When you decide to draw, let me know, because I would come down and hunt with you, because I'd love to do the high country mule deer. That's like number one on my bucket list.
All the mule deer bucks that I've shot were all in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
On pretty low, I mean, some low draw stuff like 0 to 1 point stuff.
Right.
And I shot one super big one out there that was it was like just under 190. It was like 189 and something. And it was giant 4x4 in full velvet. I shot with a muzzleloader.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was a sick hunt. I was out there with my buddy, and it was a super tough hunt. And the last day of the hunt, we doubled up in like 5 minutes. His was like awesome. 165. I think it was like a 4x4, but it had an inline fifth on one side.
Dude, that's so cool.
And then literally it like blew up the herd that they were together, and we were a bench above the bench they were all on, and they were all trying to go back up to dark timber. And I walked right into a bachelor group like 5 at like 40 yards, and I shot that one out of it.
That's awesome.
But that was like
thing. Go ahead.
I was just to say that was like that's the biggest one that I've shot. I mean, the other ones were all rifle tags.
Well, dude, 190-inch mule deers. I mean, that's really big.
It's so sick.
I mean, that's a smasher buck.
Yeah, I was pretty hyped on that. And I've seen, the crazy thing is, like, Colorado's a state, like, I don't even feel bad saying it, but it's like there are literally giants in every unit in Colorado.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like the one thing about Montana is the mule deer they do in some places, but they are not as big as Colorado, Utah, Arizona, Wyoming. And it's part of it is Montana has such a long season. I mean, we can hunt these deer for, like 6 weeks archery, 6 weeks rifle. They don't get a break. So,
and it's during the rut too, which I think is what smashes them.
Mm-hmm.
Because all that stuff like in Colorado, like 3rd, 4th rifle season, it's like hard to get, dude.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'd like to see a little bit different management practices in Montana, but I don't think it'll happen just because it's been this way for so long. So like, yeah, definitely not a place you're going to shoot. You can. I had a buddy that killed a 198-inch mule deer in velvet
So
with
big,
his bow, but it's just this like those Colorado deer. They're so framey. They have huge frames.
Yeah.
You know, they're just Montana deer don't quite get like that as often, anyways. So yeah, I'd love to do a mule deer hunt out of state. That's like definitely number one on my bucket list. So
yeah. Well, and it's like it's such like a visual hunt too, because every mule deer hunt I've been on, with the exception of pretty much one, was like you see a ton of deer.
yes,
You
that's
know,
my
it's
favorite
not
part
just
about
like
it.
it's not just like hoping you get an opportunity. Normally, it's like if you play your cards right and do your scouting, you're gonna get into them.
Yeah, it's just they're so much fun to hunt. You see a lot of critters. It's fun just sitting behind the glass and just watching them. I just think they're just a freaking blast. So
Yeah,
yeah, I could
that's
talk
sick.
mule deer all day. So
Yeah,
yeah, man. But like you said, kind of crazy. All the point stuff, applications are pretty much all have been due by now. So yeah, it's man, fall will be here before we know it. So
I know, and like now I'm just like sitting here holding my breath to hope I draw like these things I put in for,
yeah, I think
because
Montana will come out here at the end of this month.
yeah, it's supposed to be like any day now. I mean,
Yeah.
the past couple of years it was like today was when it came out. But I don't know. I've been just kind of watching it, but it's weird because I feel like you're trying to like plan your fall and like these trips, and you still don't even know like what tags you have.
Right.
So you're like trying to figure it all out. Because I think like I'm taking a break I've been antelope hunting like pretty much every year for a while now, and I'm taking a break from that just because it's like the area that I hunt. I've been archery hunting on like a super easy to get tag.
Yep.
But they had such a hard winter, dude, and like the numbers were even way down this year there.
Sure.
And they got smashed this year. Like it was like 5 to 6 feet of snow on the ground for like a couple of months. Like it was brutal.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be hard on the herd.
Yeah, so I just figure I'll do something else. I think I might. I have one offer to do another mule deer hunt, like an archery mule deer hunt. So I might do that.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Or yeah, come out here bear hunt.
Or that. That could be sick.
It's just nice that the bear thing is OTC, and it's like also nice too because you can kind of like if you got a like residents, bear tag is like $6, but
yeah.
Isn't
that wild though when you start to think about it? It's like what resident tags were. I mean, I get it, right? Because they're trying to generate like revenue for the state
for the
and everything.
Hunters, yeah.
But like, holy shit, dude! Like, like a Montana deer tag's like $700 or a little more than that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy too. Like the amount of people you see that come. I mean, like come and do it. No one bats an eye, and like all the travel costs too and stuff. I'm like, dang, like this is an expensive deer. For these like Washington guys.
Right.
Like,
well, and I mean, I guess I get it, right? Because I do it all the time now.
For sure.
That's like for me. Like I know people look at a Western hunt like that, especially. Like I'm not going with an outfitter. Like I'm going. Everything's DIY, hunting public, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, dude, you factor, okay, yeah, I got to buy the tag. And you're like, oh, $700. It's like, yeah, but I'm camping the whole time.
Right.
Like I just go out there, put up a base camp, can't hunt out of that. Like,
yeah,
it's
definitely
like,
ways to like make it affordable for sure.
Yeah. And I think it's more attainable than people think. And I think Montana deer hunting is probably one of the best like entry level Western hunts you can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially the doe thing. It's stupid, dude. Like the tag's $75. You can go out there, hunt mule deer during the rut. You can watch all the bucks.
No more Montana deer talk.
Dude, nobody goes there for that anyway. Like you're not blowing anything up.
Yeah, not the doe thing, but
That's
there's just like I just think, and of course it's just the a resident in me, but it's just like it gets a little chaotic out there sometimes.
In certain places for sure.
Yeah, definitely like Eastern Montana.
But like I think like you've done an elk hunt and stuff like that. It's like if your first ever Western experience was like, dude, let's just go elk hunting. Like
I would not do that. Yeah,
you're probably not gonna have a good time.
No,
you might for sure, but
yeah, I would definitely do deer 100%. Well, actually, antelope I think is the best entry level.
Yeah,
I think antelope's the most fun I love antelope hunting.
It's super fun, dude. And I've told a lot of people, like buddies that were interested in going out west, just like come on an antelope hunt. Cause I was like, think about this. It's like going deer hunting in Minnesota, but there's 0 trees.
Yeah, and you can see for miles and miles and miles.
It's like,
awesome.
think about how many deer you'd see. They'd be like, dude, it'd be a lot. I'm like, it's like that.
Yeah.
Like that's how many antelope you see.
Yeah, and they're just fun to hunt, and it's like, yeah, they're such cool critters too. They're antelope are cool. I don't think I'll draw this year in Montana. I drew last year, and I missed one multiple times. It's pretty bad shooting on my part.
Was that a rifle hunt?
Oh yeah. I should have. I had him dead to rights. It was not a far shot. I mean, it was, I don't know, 275. Like, should be very doable.
Yeah.
Just missed them, and not just once, but not twice, but 3 times, because they'll just sort of stand there and look at you. I don't know if something was off my scope or what, but I don't know. It is what it is.
That's
but
what they all say, dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
I dropped it, dude.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bumped my scope. Something's wrong with these turrets got bumped,
Yeah.
But so yeah, I don't think I'll draw it this year, but maybe I have an okay chance. Next year I will. So yeah, dude, but getting excited. We got to get through summer first. I know. I don't want to wish away our summer.
Once the fishing heats up, you stop thinking about it, because you're like doing all this other stuff. But it comes quick, and then all of a sudden you're getting your gear ready, and next thing you know, you're doing trips and going. And
exactly, yeah, it'll be here soon. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Like a lot. I feel like I got a really good lineup of stuff this year, and like I think last year was probably the most trips I ever did in one year.
Yeah.
And this year I'm doing everything again, plus maybe one thing. So it's
That'd be awesome.
It's amazing, like to figure like the logistics of everything and like work, like getting out of work. It's nuts.
Right.
But he keeps working out. So I'm like holding my breath here.
Just keep her going.
Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely excited for the fall. It'll, like we said, it'll be here, in the blink of an eye. So.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about like the hunting stuff is you kind of get like 2 times of the year where you're like you got the one aspect where you're actually doing it, like, September through whenever you stop hunting.
Definitely.
But then you get this like springtime, like 3 weeks where you're just like, what am I going to do? And applying for tags and like figuring stuff. I mean, I guess if you just like deer hunted in Minnesota, maybe you don't get that, but.
Right. It's kind of fun. You get like 2 phases. You get the hunt, and then you get all the time before the hunt, like the pre-hunt, which is like almost just as fun.
Yeah. Well, and then you get to like now I feel like the e-scouting thing makes it like so much more fun where you're on OnX and like go hunt, like looking at all these places and like, oh, this basin is going to be so sick.
Yeah.
And you've never even set foot there yet.
I know. I'm sure you've had it happen before. You walk into something and it looks so much different than you thought it was going to.
That or dude, like especially so a lot of the stuff in Colorado I hunt is super high elevation and it's rugged, it's steep,
yeah,
and I use Google Earth a lot.
Yeah.
And like now like a lot of these like other things like OnX have like 3D and stuff too. But it's like after the first couple of years I was out there and I'm like looking at stuff on Google Earth it looks awesome, and there's like avalanche chutes and this and look at all the green shit back there. And then you go there and you finally glass it, or you just go and try to hike it. And you're like, first of all, if you've never been out there, if you see something on one of those 3D maps that looks steep, it is 10 times that steepness in real life.
100%.
If it looks steep on there, I mean, it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, I've had that happen so many times where I've looked at something on there and be like, okay, like, yeah, I can hike this in, and then I'll just come up and over this ridge, and then I'll be there. And it's like the ridge is actually like a mountain peak, Yeah. I'm like, yeah, it's so deceiving. But like you said, you really don't learn a whole lot until you get out there and do it. So,
yeah. Well, and just the different terrain. Like, I've been on some stuff where you're like hiking and it's like, oh, it just looked like it was kind of this open face, but it's actually just like a scree field.
Yeah, just like shale rock. Yeah.
And like you can't even walk through it, but you're just like skiing down it. Like, okay, this is super cool.
Yeah, it's like you're on a doll sheep on the Chugach range. You're like, dude, I thought we were elk hunting. Like this is messed. Yeah.
No, it's totally crazy. And like you only end up there because you're hunting.
Right. Yeah.
Like those places, you would never go there for any other reason.
Yeah, that's the cool. I think that's the best part is like you end up in these super badass places, like, and you'd never go there unless you're actually hunting. Like, I'm not a big hiker outside of hunting,
Sure. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, if you were just hiking, you wouldn't go to like
No,
this
no,
shit. Like, there's no trail to where I'm going.
no.
You
You have to
know?
be a total lunatic. So
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, man. Oh man, I'm stoked now. You got me excited talking about this.
I know. As soon as you get rolling, it's hard to like stop thinking about it.
For sure, for
But
sure.
I don't
So
know. I'm just excited to get some of the plans going because like I think all of the draw results come out like within I think in the next month, maybe early June, but at the latest.
yep,
But
yep.
it's
I
like
know.
by then you know what you got,
Yeah, you
So
got a game plan going for sure. So
oh yeah.
yeah, man, gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be a spectacular fall.
Sick. Well, we got a lot of fishing between now and then though.
Yes, lots of fishing, warm weather, which I'm so excited about.
So
Um,
I mean, it sounds like you've been out fishing already, but when is like peak touristy guys coming out to fish with you?
so May, June, and July get real busy.
Okay.
And then towards the end of July, I'll go up to Alaska and I'll be there till about the end of August. So
Sick.
I'm already getting stoked about that. I freaking love it up there. So excited for that. And then coming back, when I get back, August is kind of shitty fishing in Montana, just hot. And then September start to get better. October will be good. And then come winter, I don't know exactly what I'll do. Maybe probably Idaho again, but yeah, it's kind of we're on sort of the edge of like the shoulder season as far as fishing goes right now, and should just get super super busy here, May, June, and July. So looking forward to it for sure.
Sick.
Yep.
Well,
So
I mean, I'm sure, like I said, a lot of the people listening are probably not like Western hunters, but I think there's a lot of people that want to. And
yeah.
like, I know we have a big like fishing audience right now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
shout out everyone that fishes, but like, we got a lot of other stuff going on. And I like people should definitely like hit us up if they have questions. Cause I mean, we don't know all the answers, but we're kind of plugged into that stuff that we
For
could definitely
sure.
dig around and find out some info.
Definitely with the process. I know for me, like as far as fishing goes, I've I don't want to sound like I'm toot my own horn here, but
He's
I,
tooting his horn.
yeah, I've like if anybody is like thinking about doing an Alaska trip or has an Alaska trip planned, I've helped out quite a few people, buddies and that kind of thing, even just like kind of random guys, just like setting up their trip and like who they should, if they want to, go with a guide, who they should go with, and then ways that you can make Alaska happen for, significantly less money than
For
maybe
the
you
average
think it is.
guy.
Yeah, for the average Joe.
Yeah.
Like it's totally possible to do on a budget, and there's lots and lots of good fishing, and accessible too. That's the best part. Is a lot of the stuff is, at least on the Kenai Peninsula, is all accessible by road, and so all you got to do is rent a car or rent a truck or whatever, and you're fishing. And lots of stuff you can do on your own where you don't need a guide. But yeah, I definitely have like just over the years been able to kind of like figure out sort of the right way to do Alaska, because there definitely is like, not that there's a wrong way, but there's ways that like the average guy can do it without having to spend $7,000 a week at a fly-in lodge. Like that's not the
Right.
only option. I think sometimes people think that, but totally not. There's lots of good affordable options. So
Well, especially if you're willing to do probably like some semi DIY stuff, which is,
definitely.
I think, like a lot of trips out west that people think like, oh, all these hunts are going to cost me tens of thousands of dollars, where it's like, realistically, it's not
No,
like that
for
at
sure.
all.
I mean, even like, yeah, like fishing on the, fly fishing the Missouri. I mean, I think the best way to do it is, get a guide for a day and then have a couple more days after that where then you can just go fish on your own. Cause like you're going to learn so much from one day of guided fishing. It's going to set
Right.
you up to be beneficial, where you're not just gonna be flailing out there and kind of wasting your time. I think having one day of some kind of instruction or guidance goes a long ways, in terms of fishing trips for sure.
Yeah, I think that's super good advice, especially coming from somebody that guides a lot of people. Like you probably see everything from the guy that literally doesn't know what he's doing with like a fly rod or anything to like the dude that literally has every piece of Orvis gear that comes out to hang out.
Oh, I fish guys that are like so much better than I am, like that are so freaking good, but that's just what they do. Like they don't have a boat, maybe they don't want a boat. Like they just need someone to roam around and be like, and those clients are awesome because it's like, they just rope them, and you look
Yeah.
like an all-star out there, but really it's because you've got just like a super stick in the front of your boat, and he's just, whacking them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool. You get kind of all walks of life for sure, which is my favorite part, no doubt.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's sick, dude. And I'm glad it's starting to ramp up for you out there, and like should only get better, I'm sure, as like the spring goes on.
Definitely learning a ton, and that's kind of what this spring is going to be for me, being in a new area that I've fished a fair amount, but not a ton. So, just trying to fish as much as I possibly can before, things start to get busy and all that. So, yeah, it's so far so good. So, liking it. Definitely want I think you should try to make a trip, if you can this summer.
Dude, I know. I got to figure out how to swing it. It's just like I got to make it fit into everything,
It's hard. Like you were saying, you got all this hunted, you got the fall, and then,
Well,
yeah.
you know how it is, dude, with like a regular job too, right? It's not like I just got like endless time. So
I know.
I want to do it so bad. There's just so many things to do. I'm trying to fit it all. So
I
until
hear you,
something
man.
changes there,
I hear you.
I gotta figure it out.
It's not easy. There's not enough time for anyone to do it all.
No.
But yeah, man, for sure. So,
but I'm glad we got into that, because I think we'll probably dig into this stuff more in the future. Like,
yes, especially as it approaches.
Yeah, and the hunting side of things, like I know Hahner does quite a bit of Western like DIY stuff too, and we got some good experience and knowledge. I think we can throw at the people.
Definitely, man. All about helping the folks, because I know for me and probably for you too, like, man, so many people have helped me out exponentially. Like,
you have to, dude. Otherwise, it takes forever to learn how to do this stuff.
Oh, it's crazy, man. I mean, you can't do it by yourself, and it's so like, yeah, I've had guys that have just been such tremendous help and kind of flatten that learning curve slightly, anyways.
Yes.
Where it's just like, man, makes all the difference for sure. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I know this has been kind of a little bit different episode, but I think we got into some good stuff there. So anybody has any more questions about like the hunting stuff, definitely reach out. We'll get it on another podcast. And just thanks for tuning in to another episode of Past the Barb. Any parting words there, Mr. Stolski?
I think we carried the show pretty good. I'm pretty proud of us here. We had Hahner check in, but no Bart, which is the first episode without Bart. So I think, we tried our best, and hopefully if you made it this far, we appreciate you.
We did it for you.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.